All right, well folks, we are back and I got a bunch of stuff in the mail finally. Happy. So we're gonna still continue plugging on this one a little bit. I got my headers, super cool. I got my pulleys, exhaust, well the mufflers anyways, for that. I went with the bare steel, the traditional style headers. I think they look awesome, but I know they stick out like way too far. But we'll test fit them anyways. I plan to cut them down. It's kind of weird that I noticed that side's like welded in the middle and these sides aren't. So I don't know what that's about. I have to maybe reach out to the manufacturer because I don't know what that deal is. It doesn't bother me, but it doesn't make sense why it is either. These are the bare steel ones. Maybe that's a thing. I don't know. Doesn't seem right. Anywho. I got some mufflers on, so what I was going to do, my plan is I am just going to basically buzz the mufflers in there, so that'll be all a muffled dealio, and then we can go exhaust straight out the back. That's kind of the plan. So we got our headers, we got an electric fan, we got our pulleys. The only thing I did notice is this bracket, I think for the alternator, is for the traditional, it would bolt onto a cast manifold. So I don't know, we're gonna have to do some modifying I guess and make that work, but no big deal, we'll figure it out. So that's that. So we got those. Hey pup, you happy I'm back? Look how happy you are. Look how happy you are. And then we got our U-joint, we got our quick connect, we got our wheel bearings. Viewer sent me one of these, subscriber. All I know is I want to thank Nick A, whoever you are, for this. This will make my revivals a little easier. The little engine, the remote start button. I guess he was tired of me always dragging a wire across. So we got those, and then yeah, I just ordered some. Basically, I used all these pipes when I did the car, when I changed the rad out on it. So we just have some stock, some parts stock for that thing. All right. Well, what do we want to do? We're going to continue on with the steering. That'd be a good plan. And we should test fit the headers for the heck of it, and you're going to see what I mean, why I'm going to be narrowing them up. They're way too wide for this particular car. Anyways, just because I'm a kid, I want to see what this stuff looks like on the car. where are we here? The headers are on. We have lower pulley. I should have bought a lower pulley at the same time. These don't jive together. There's a hair bit, whatever. It's like half a groove out. We'll figure it out. Turns out I need a different water pump. I opened the center up, but the holes don't line up. So we'll figure that out later. This bracket is there. It's kind of ugly, but well, whatever. It is what it is. If we got to figure something else out, we'll figure something else out. I know people would say you can do a low schlung, but I don't know. There's not that much room in there, let alone for any kind of adjustment. So maybe, I don't know. The headers, well, they're kind of what I thought, but not at the same time. I thought they'd sit lower, but it's probably, who knows what it's in reference to and whatever else. So overall, though, I'm happy. We went up here. We checked our clearance. Our steering is good, so I wanted to bring these in, but I might change it. Instead of making these flat, I might make them come out of the motor at an angle, to which then we'll curl it around the steering nicely, and then I'd like to try to get this as much, kind of as close to the steering without touching the steering, but like, so this part is under the car. So when I run the exhaust, it's, well, I don't know if it's going to be under. It'll just give the car the illusion it's lower, because it's going to be here. There'll be cherry bomb on there, and then I'm going to go exhaust out under the diff, straight out the back kind of thing. So we just want this to go under the door more, like under the rockers, so everything gives the illusion that it's more full. That's the idea. So we got room here. Plenty of room around the steering box. I don't know how much I can kink that down. I don't know. We might have to cut these up to do what I want, but overall, I'm pretty happy with them. Like, I guess they're sort of usable where they are. Like, you could open and close the door, but you'd have no exhaust. So, yeah, I don't know. It was a good idea. I do dig them, like they look nice. I just wish the tubes here were a little bit longer. That would have been nice. So we got, whatever. It's kind of stripped down. I'm done playing with that junk for now. I think we'll get back to steering so we can get the thing to at least steer around. I lightly put on something here just to mimic parts. You can see how much we could come in, but these tubes aren't as long as I thought. And we'd have some steering issues anyways if we brought it down lower. And my initial idea was I was going to take a bunch out, bring this in about, 3 inches. That would get the exhaust where I wanted, but these tubes just ended up not being as long. So we'll just manipulate it and we'll just kind of clock everything down. Instead of warming your coffee on there, this will probably sit at the same angle as the heads. And it'll probably come down just enough, I think. Time will tell. We'll play with it later. For now, let's work on the steering. We got to do the steering. I'd like to actually get the body just bolted down, or get the holes in there so that it can get bolted down. Yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of scatterbrained, so this video is going to be all over the place. I'm out of my groove, so we're going to scatterbrain around and get a bunch of random stuff done. That's the idea. We have taken the headers off. I think our immediate plan of action that we're going to do here is from underneath, we have our mounts, but we need access holes inside the cab to get at them. Let me give you some light here. There we go. So we're going to get these bolts out. I'm going to drill through. We're going to make a bigger hole so we can come down and sandwich. Actually, that one isn't a big deal. Is it? No, it's not. We can gain access and do that from there. So the only two that we have to deal with are going to be this one and the one in the front, which whatever, I just got to drill a hole there. And then that one's good to go. Those things, what we're going to do is I'm going to machine a screw I don't know what I have, like a bolt head down, like, so it'll be like a castle nut, so it'll sit flush, and then we'll weld it in. It'll be like a rib zerk, but not. We're going to actually weld the nut to the frame. So we're going to do that there in the front. We're going to do it in the back here, and that's that. Then under here, we're going to do an access hole up here. I guess technically we could reach it from underneath, but starting to rethink that now. We can get in. Do I really want to? No, I'm going to make it from the top. That's not a big deal. I'll do that one from the top. This one we can do easily the one midway, which is right here. So that one we'll easily be able to do from underneath up. So it's just the front one and this back one I'm going to deal with. So that's not too bad. So we're going to do those. We're going to work on the steering box. We're going to get that gusseted and framed. Right here you can see how this thing comes up under the floor. So we're going to trim this back so we can get at this bolt up here a little easier. To which what we're going to do is make a stud that goes in here and comes through, and then we can just nicely put a nut and a bolt underneath to hold this down. So that's a win. We have to tackle the front because if you can see in there, I don't know if you can or not, our hole is not perfect. We got to move the mount back a little bit. When we were doing the old shuffle-a-roo with the motor, that got goofed up, which is fine. And the last thing under here is we're going to make this cross member removable. So we're going to make some kind of a bracket that's going to go onto here, and we're going to slug the frame so we can bolt and tighten it as tight as we want without worrying about pinching the frame. And finish welding those mounts. I think the ladder bar stuff is good. This is good back here. We will eventually going to cut those ears off. I'm not worried right now. The tank mount is good. I think we're good back here for now. Then we can at least go down. I can bolt it, like put some bushings in there, bolt it, and we can kind of work with the rest of the car for now and not have to worry about things not being where they're supposed to be or moving around. That's the plan. These keep getting hung up on the back of this body. They kind of go in a little bit, so I'm going to trim these off a little bit. Other than that, I think that's the plan for now. So we're just going to give her and see what happens here. See where we get. Should be relatively quick, I'm hoping. All right. Well, I think that is all I am going to do tonight. So, what did we all do? I drilled the pilot holes up top here. So you can see this is where my mount is. We're going through. These ones I'm leaving, they'll be fine. I drilled the front ones. We put slugs in here, welded them in. I ended up making this cross member. Oops, the little worm. The cross member, I made a mount that, this cross member now bolts in. I did the same spiel where I just welded a slug in instead of through the whole frame. So I don't know if I do it, if you can get the bolt in or out, whatever. Anyways, these will unbolt, come out now. Got another slug up there. These mounts are fully welded. I haven't touched this. I'm like, we'll deal with it after. It's really hot and I don't feel like dealing with anything anymore. I think tomorrow I will open that up. Maybe I'll visit. Yeah, we'll do the steering box. Let's just get her done. Do it. Weld that. And I think we'll just dust some paint on the frame just to make that happy. Maybe we'll do the same under here. I don't know yet. I think I'm going to revisit this. We'll pull it off. We'll hold off on the paint for now. And yeah, we'll get her down. And I guess we'll start mocking up the steering just to get the steering working. That'd be kind of like ideal. If we could do that by tomorrow, I'd be pretty happy. Anyways, this is as far as I'm getting tonight. I'm done. It's hot. I am sweating. All right. Well, came in. I don't know what we all seen. I don't know what I got or I forgot to film. But anyways, we did notch this out. I trimmed some of the inner slats on the inside. I think what I'm gonna do is probably pull the motor. We'll get the steering box mount done good. The motor mounts are welded, but I'm gonna pull them off. I'm not 100% on my rad mounts, but we can adjust and deal with this front after. But trans cross member is good, so I might pull motor tranny out quick. We can give it a quick coat of paint, like dismantle what we can. Quick coat of paint. Do we do that right now? Regardless, we don't need the motor in for the few bits that I'm doing right now. So I'm going to pull the motor out. The cross member can come out. I think all of my other mounts are good everywhere. I'm not too worried about the diff because we can pull that out after and deal with that separate. I'm going to weld up this mount though. And what does that give us? We should be able to actually get all this stuff finished up after I do this, that we can actually put some paint under here. Then I believe what I want to do is I'm going to tack up, get these lower mounts, the tunnel stuff all burned in super quick. And then we can seam seal everything. And then we can throw a coat of paint underneath there. So then we can actually bolt it down and we don't have to touch it again. So that is my plan for that. I think that would do all of those bits and I'd be pretty happy. So anyways, first things first, I'm going to pull the motor tranny out. And then I'll move the chassis out anywho for now, to which I can get this down. We can finish tacking up the floor. Then we'll come back to the chassis. Yeah, makes sense. Let's do that. And then that way we can kind of get some stuff buttoned up on here. I can move it over to this hoist for now. I got some stuff I have to do to this car. As you can tell, I've lost some portal walls and stuff. We got to touch up some stuff on there before, I don't know what I'm doing with that car after. But then we can continue on with this thing. Hey, Bozo, how's it going? You just sitting there like a goon waiting for me to do something? Hey? All right. What have you guys seen? I painted the bottom side. I seam sealed. We just painted it with some Tremclad, just some rust paint. It's designed for that. I was doing it in flat, ran some semi-gloss. No big deal. So that is seam sealed, painted. We did the same inside. We finished welding everything. So we did that. We seam sealed it. I threw a bit of paint where I had to, because a lot of folks were razzing me. I was doing it on bare steel and you're supposed to do it over paint. So we did that. We painted, so we got everything all seam sealed under here. We still got to do the back section, but we'll deal with that when we kind of figure out what we're going to paint the rest of the floor and stuff. So that's kind of tackled up this bit. We did finish welding in the firewall, so we did that. And then you've seen me tape and seam seal it, just the edge. So we have that thing all tackled and done. So what do you think? Should we work on the frame next? No? So next step is we're going to tackle the frame. I'm not worried about the diff, so we're not going to deal with anything with this. But the spring pockets, like the frame portion is good. We still got to trim these horns. And I got to weld this mount fully. So I'm going to do that. And then we're going to go, I'll probably pull the motor and transmission. And then we can look at the steering box, make that other gusset. We can weld that thing solid. And I think that covers everything in here. So we can actually just paint this thing up to the firewall. And then we can kind of repaint this section after. I'm going to paint just the frame, because I'll probably pull the diff with the trailing arms to weld up those mounts and then cut those ears off of the diff eventually. But that gets whatever, to the point that the body can actually go on and stay on kind of thing. That's what I feel. So, I think I'm going to go for supper now, and then that is going to be the next plan. As you can see our mount, our box, we just have the one, so I want to do a second gusset. We can easily get at the bolt in the back there. So we'll do a second gusset. When the motor's out, we'll be able to weld everything up really nice and get some paint on it. I'm going to see if I have any of the dome stuff so I can just brush some paint on there and it'll be nice, very nice. right. Well, we got that out of the way. So we trimmed the back. That's good. We welded this upper mount. Like I say, I haven't touched the diff. I don't care. I'll deal with that a different time. For now, we got this all done. The mount is fully, or the steering box is fully welded in. I wasn't too happy with the way the inner mounts were, so I kind of just built some gussets. So we smashed a couple of those in. Those are good. So the next step is I'm actually just going to brush a coat of paint on this thing. And we'll probably end somewhere up here because, well, I can kind of go up towards the front, but I'll probably recoat it anyway, so whatever. I'm going to do the coat inside, well, up to the front of the motor, because once I get the motor in, it's probably not coming back out, honestly. And same with the body. At this point, if it bolts down, I don't think it's going to have to come off again. So I want to get some paint on here and then let it dry. I guess it'll take about 2 days. We'll play with the motor a little bit, just clean it up, put some paint on it, and get it ready to drop in for its last time. But anyways, let's paint her up, and I don't know. I guess that's going to be her. I don't know. I had a good day. I think I did anyways. But until I finish painting, it doesn't count. All right, this is where we sit. So we got most of the front done. Frame inside out. We'll have to do the bottom, or I'm gonna do the bottom when it gets on the hoist. But we got some paint on her. I want to drop the diff eventually here, so I figure I'll just paint all that stuff when I do that. We got the underside of the cab seam sealed painted we have seam sealed and painted on the inside and welded the floor section up. So that's all a win. So that is all done. I'll be doing something on there yet. We'll seam seal this edge, but I'm not too worried right now. We're just getting the heavy duty stuff kind of out of the way there. The more the miserable junk, I guess. So I'll be able to put the fuel tank back in. I guess the next steps are going to be, I'll make some pads. I did have some, but I don't know what I did with them. And then we'll kind of bolt the body down, which will be like kind of the last time in my eyes. I think I will probably do this firewall quick before I do that. But that's for another day. We'll do the firewall. I'll probably take this master cylinder off. I ordered a different one. Some people were suggesting, I think, a Ford one or something. It's a little smaller or narrower, or I don't know. We'll see when it comes, if it'll do what I want. Well, I think that's where I'm going to leave this one. We're going to let some paint dry. I want to put one more coat on yet, but we'll let this flash. But until then, I want to thank you folks for watching, and we'll catch you on the next one. Later.